you very much. So hopefully in a second, you should now be able to see my screen. Yes, fabulous. Okay, so yes, thank you for coming today to listen to me kind of witter on about how service design has evolved over the last 10 years at Medway. So it's not going to be a chat today about what is service design. It's more of a chat about how we have used it when everything was on fire. So we've been using the service design approach since 2016. We started with a large digital transformation team, and that incorporated 3 service designers, 4 or 5 content designers, 3 delivery managers, 2 business analysts, 2 UX designers, and somebody said I should say and a partridge in a pear tree at the end of that because it sounds a little bit like the song, but no, sadly not. So we had quite a few resources within the team, and our direction of travel was to digitally transform Medway and make our services more accessible and user-friendly. Then in 2018, kind of the direction shifted, and the team slimmed down into what we then called the service design team. We had 2 service designers in that team, 3 delivery managers.
Oh, she said, no, we've got.
Hello? Okay, cool. So we had 2 service designers, 3 delivery managers, 5 content officers, 1 product designer, and a full stack developer. And it was during this time that we developed our form and content design standards, which we've externally published on our website. And I'll share the links afterwards, but knowing about these now will give some context to what I talk about later. So at that point, we started focusing on those big areas where calls were coming in high volumes to our customer services team. And the initial approach and the goal was channel shift, and channel shift by any means necessary. And I'm sure a few of you will recognise that term and maybe shudder like I do at that as well. And our measures of success were the percentage points between the total number of monthly calls that were going down and the total number of submitted online forms going up. And that was pretty much what we were measuring our success on. And then suddenly kind of COVID hit and all bets were off at that point. Overnight, our digital transformation and channel shifting approach went from a nice road match to deliver it now. And the pressure wasn't just to get services online quickly, it was obviously to do it in a way that people could actually use them and our teams could support them. And a really good example of one of those processes was our HWRC, or our tips booking process. So we had to move really fast to build a booking system that could handle 21 waste sites with thousands of visitors every day, because we were supporting our colleagues in Kent, and we had nominated ourselves to build that booking process for them. And we couldn't afford to launch something that really looked good digitally, but then was basically chaos with a login screen. So that was kind of where we were in COVID times. And more recently, we've now evolved again. We have a new dedicated service design team, which obviously I am lead of, and we have a separate content design team, and we're now part of the design and data team, which also houses business analysts, our GIS team, and our business improvement team as well. So we've broken down silos within our own organisation in the transformation kind of area, and we're leveraging a lot of different skill sets now and bringing people together. So at Medway, I'm not going to teach you the service design fundamentals, but what I will give you is the lens that we've used to kind of help us get a bit unstuck and to help people kind of zoom out to zoom in. So we use what we call the 5 Ps in a way to quickly break down any service into its core moving parts. And that's really helped us shift conversations from opinions and assumptions to things that we can design around, and has given us really valuable requirements that we can use but also contextualize things for our service areas. So the 5 Ps we focus on are the people, so who's involved in the interaction, the places where it happens, if it's digital, physical, or potentially a messy mix of both. Props and products, the things that are involved, so forms, letters, emails, systems, potentially an old fax machine that's somewhere in our children's and adult service, but I don't know, that's only allegedly. We've also got our processes and obviously partners, because no service is ever and then those 5 Ps kind of show up through touch points, and those are the individual moments of interaction. So that could be the call, a form, an automated email, a text message, or maybe a face appointment. But then our residents aren't experiencing just those single touch points. It's that journey, and those journeys kind of cross channels and teams and systems, whether we've designed them to or not. So our service areas back in 2019, what really stuck out to us was they were doing what subject matter experts do. They were really brilliant at that part of their service, but understandably they had tunnel vision. They couldn't always see the full end-to-end journey or the knock-on impact when one part breaks, or if oh, I hope I'm back. Sorry, the internet dropped out there.
You froze slightly.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. Not too bad then. Is there anything I need to? Where did we get to? Sorry.
I think if you roll back about 2 sentences.
Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. So our services with subject matter experts, they could focus on what their part of that journey was, or their element, or their touch point, but they weren't able to see the whole process end to end. And they also couldn't see the resident behind the data. What they could see and what they were focusing on rightly, because they were given KPIs that said they had to do a certain amount of work within a certain amount of time. So service design has really given us a way to, like I say, zoom out, join the dots, and get aligned as a organisation on who the services are for, not just what one teams think they're for. And something that we use in our workshops is service pattern maps. And these have helped us kind of make service design scalable, but also empathetic and trusted across the organisation. It helps us kind of build out building blocks of services that we can reuse. So user needs, staff needs, channels, business goals, policies, and common activities that we can repeat. And once we kind of surfaced that to our service areas, we weren't reinventing the wheel every time. We are starting to build a library of patterns that we can reuse safely and quickly. And it also gives all of our departments a common language. And it's a starting point that's put us on a path to not have 47 of the same conversation in a different way over 47 different Teams meetings or emails. And our service areas can see that we're not just being fluffy with post-it notes and getting everybody in a room. We're actually thinking about how residents use the service and how we balance their needs with the policies and the business goals that our departments have. So everybody feels included and they can collaborate on this. To make it even easier as well, we have introduced Lou Downs' 15 Principles of Good Service Design, and this slide is in all of the workshops that we do, be it a discovery workshop or a collaborative design workshop. And it gives us a simple, non-technical way to explain why we're making certain decisions. It's helped our teams quickly understand what it is that we're changing and why we might be challenging them on certain decisions and what good looks like. It's become a shared reference point. It's gone council-wide. It's referenced in our transformation strategy, and it's also in our cabinet papers. So our members, our chief executive and the leader of the council are all buying into the 15 Principles of Good Service Design. And it's helped us also across the board move from conversations that were I don't like that or I want this to does it meet user needs, and does it make the service work end to end? So we also put people in a room with us physically. We tried workshops with people online or hybrid, and it just really didn't work because people were easily distracted by the Teams messages that were coming up or the emails. So we tempt them in with snacks as a strategic incentive, and then we lock them in a room with us and other service areas that are part of their processes. They are no laptop zones. We do allow a mobile in case of emergency, but it works because it creates a shared understanding, shared ownership, and it's also a shared starting point for designing those services that all kind of need to link up. So another trick that we've used in our workshops is sometimes when we run those sessions, we will take a process map that is owned by one of the service areas that are in the workshops with us, and we'll change the wording and we'll change it and disguise it a little bit so it looks like a different service. And then we will have the 15 principles of good service design up on the screen, and we will ask them to identify pain points and blockers, ask them which principles it's not aligning with, and then at the end we really kind of say, you know, surprise, that was your own process. It lets them raise issues without feeling defensive, and it helps them spot problems without them thinking that we are personally attacking them. It gives them an opportunity to kind of take themselves away from the process, and it's easier to pick things apart really when it's not you and it's not something that you've got a vested interest in, but it works. So again, in 2019, since then, we've been building our services in the Jadu suite of products. That includes our content management system for our website, the central forms package for web forms, and the Jadu Connect is our case management system. And our first digital service to go live that had been fully service designed end to end was the corporate complaint stage 1. So we went big, we went organisation wide, but we did have a problem in that ICT at the same time was maintaining our legacy CRM, which was lagging, and our old e-base forms. So essentially we were running 2 systems at the same time. We were double handling a lot of work. We were trying to keep an old system going and improve and bring in new systems. And then when COVID hit, obviously we're having to move more services online as possible. So Jadu is a low code, no code approach, which kind of allowed us as service designers to do the designing, the building, but it also meant that we were doing the maintaining and carrying out business as usual. And we ended up kind of being a little bit like system admins. And there was only 2 of us at this point doing that job, which was obviously unsustainable. So fast forward to 2024, and by this point there was only 1 service designer left in what we used to call the digital team, and that was me. But I had been promoted to lead service designer of me. So I can tell you that during that time, being employee, manager and coach, I had some very interesting team meetings. I think somebody took pity on me and said, here you go, here's our product designer, you can line manage Alana, she's awesome. And our meetings became a lot more productive and our work became a lot better. But I didn't have the technical background or traditional ICT skills. So everything that I knew about building forms and workflows, I'd learned on the job and by using low code, no code products. And I was also being system admin. And we also realised soon after I'd kind of taken on the role of lead service designer that we had another problem. Our contract for our legacy systems, Lagan and eBase, was ending in 2025. We did a bit of digging and we realised we had 29 forms in our old legacy system. And they had an associated 72 workflows. So these were things like waste services. The entire waste service forms were in our old legacy system, as were our highways forms. So they were not simple. They were not simple processes. And it was just me. So collectively, it was a sweaty realization that we had less than a year to migrate all of these things out. And we really had to figure out a plan quite quickly. And that's kind of when we had our, well, I had an aha moment. We were looking at the forms and we realised a lot of them were capturing a lot of the same information from residents, and the workflows were quite similar, and they the majority of them fit into a reported service pattern. So essentially our residents were telling us about a problem, and then our officers were carrying out common activities like investigations and site visits in the background. And then we had a kind of second light bulb moment in that during COVID, we had been building out the local restrictions government grants and the additional restrictions government grants. And then after COVID, it was the household support fund. And these were grants that the criteria was coming down to local authorities quite late in expectation for turning it around. Digital forms and workflows. So we had been building one form and workflow with an idea to make it flexible and easily adaptable within the future, and then just changing it and tweaking it when the criteria came around. And we realized that actually, because we put the work in with our form and web content standards, if we built our forms to these standards, we were then able to copy and paste forms and workflows and tweak them as needed. So we'd kind of done a lot of the building blocks in previous years, and it meant that actually we had a little bit of a plan of action moving forward. We set up a project team called the Lag and Lift and Shift team, and I put together a team of 11 staff members. These staff members came from our customer services team. We had PAs to our assistant directors, and I had a couple of system admins as well from ICT. A lot of these had no prior experience with designing or building anything and had never seen a forms package or anything like that. But over 4 Mondays, we dedicated those Mondays, and I trained them up on service pattern maps, end-to-end form building and migration. And in parallel, I went out for recruitment and recruited 2 more service designers, so it wasn't just me, and onboarded those guys. And within 6 months, that team built 29 forms and 72 workflows. A project that if we'd done it traditionally with our old CRM and through a traditional kind of ICT project, probably would have taken us 12 to 18 months. But the kind of crux of that was we achieved an annual saving of £55,000 from that small team just by lifting and shifting our forms out of our old CRM into a new CRM. And we did it quite quickly as well. And I'd love to say that the virtues of service design and all the user research and the user testing and all the other wonderful stuff that we do kind of spoke for itself with our senior and corporate management team. But we all know that money talks. So initially, that was what they focused on. And we really had to kind of say, well, actually, service design is the thing that got us where it was. So it's not just sticky notes and, you know, everybody having a lovely time in a room, kind of putting dots on things. We're actually giving you something tangible. And our workshops are now kind of hot ticket events. We're not putting anything on Eventbrite yet, but we might if there's a little bit more interest. So that's pretty much it. But where are we going with service design next at Medway? It's really popular. It is spoken about by all of our corporate management team. And because we've shown the virtues and the value and the money saving through the techniques that we're using, we're focusing on more bigger integrated initiatives and projects now. So we're moving out of what was fundamentally kind of our digital realm, and we're looking at processes now like an integrated hubs project, where we're going to be putting face-to-face services with digital elements available to people in areas that are most in need. So we're listening to our residents' needs, and we'll be building services that kind of wrap around them, not services that they need to wrestle with to access. So we're going to take it out that digital realm and kind of build services from the ground up and make it fit for purpose. Like everybody else, we're also planning for LGR. And I really would like to lay as much of the groundwork as we can in collaborating with colleagues kind of sector wide and beyond to design and build services that really hit the ground running during LGR, but they also help kind of inform the narrative in our new local authorities by keeping user-centered design at the forefront, keeping user research and testing standard activities, because they've been shown to save us money and effort and a lot of ag in the long term. But also kind of more personally for us at Medway, we are launching our internal service design centre of excellence on our SharePoint site. And this is where we're going to be sharing case studies of projects that we're working on. So we are communicating that with the wider organisation. We've got blogs about behaviour audits that we're doing and behavioural psychology in the services that we're designing and user testing. We're also identifying service design champions throughout the organisation. So people that are coming to our workshops that are engaging, but then are then spreading the word out and not making service design seem like such a dark art or a specialism that nobody else can be involved in. And then when I'm back on LinkedIn, I haven't been banned. I just forgot my password and then I couldn't verify myself. So I haven't been able to put any of this on LinkedIn yet. But once I'm there, we'll be sharing our case studies and our blogs widely there, and also reaching out to collaborate with, hopefully, some of you people that are on the call here today. So it's kind of really been a journey from sticky notes and colourful dots and a lot of hard work, but now we're kind of actually influencing how services are designed council-wide. And yeah, we'll hopefully be seeing a little bit more of our stick man, who's called Gus, who's on our logo there. Apparently that stands for Good User Services, my team have told me. I just thought it was a cute name. But yeah, hopefully you guys will be seeing a little bit more of Gus. He'll be one of our default user personas that we're using to tell some of our stories and our case studies.
Excellent. Thank you, Vicky. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, only because my headset decided to go kaput halfway through your very interesting sharing of your experiences and journey thus far. Now we're going to have, before we go into questions and that sort of thing, we're going to have a little bit of an interactive exercise. So I've assigned Vicky, Rhiann and David. Rhiann and David are from Jardu. I have assigned everyone to rooms and we're going to have a look at a process. I'm going to find some pain points, and I know there's a lot of service designers and business analysts on this call, so I'm looking forward to some great outputs. So I'm going to open rooms now, and you should all be sent to a room. If there's any stragglers, I will send you and will assign you to a room. So just open those rooms now. And there is a Miro board. Thank you, well done, Rhiann. There is a Miro board. The link is in the chat and will also be shared with you. And you're being moved now, I believe. So we're going to have about 10 minutes. See you in a bit. Minutes, right? Okay. Oh. How do I join a room? Unless that's not really. Right. Seconds. Todge. Greetings from Mac. So was that a fruit? Were those rooms fruitful? Let's come to Vicky first. Vicky, you're the first person I can see, so that's why I'm picking on you.
Yes, yeah, it was. Lots of the pain points that we identified and that our customers had fed back to us as issues that they were having accessing our services were kind of picked up. So yeah, it was good. Good conversation starter.
Excellent. And David?
Yeah, firstly, we could all see the mirror, which was good. Secondly, definitely, I mean, we were all putting sticky notes on there, but I think the conversation was around actually you don't appreciate that for what in theory is quite a simple thing, an abandoned vehicle. There is quite, in looking at this process, it's quite involved. There's a lot of things going on in there, perhaps too much, Vicky, which is obviously why it was going to be redesigned. So I think that's kind of the most obvious area for us to look at. So yeah.
Excellent. And Rianne?
Yeah, I think a lot of our discussions were, rather than like the specifics of the process, but actually how do you go about and deliver this as a workshop with your stakeholders and engage with them. So the use of the tools and taking them through it, how you do change with people and how you get them to think about the ideation and the opportunities, and rather than being it within the details, and also pulling out some of the nuances between the process and how those are different, and also some of the differences between the engage icons used at different places and some of the meaning around those. So it was interesting.
Excellent, thank you. Is this something we're allowed to share post activity, Vicky, with the participants, obviously?
Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. And I dropped into each room. Thank you very much, everyone, for getting involved and taking part in that sort of thing. David, do you want to, in fact, once again, can I ask you all to close off your cameras and your microphones? David, do you just want to sort of come in and share your screen and sort of talk us through the sort of Jardu perspective, the technology provider's perspective to this activity, if you could? That would be useful.
Yeah, definitely. Can you see that? Okay.
I can, yeah. I'm going to close off now.
Brilliant. So it's not pitch, don't worry. It's just a bit of background information because Vicky's mentioned it, and Vicky and Nick kindly asked me to come in and tell you a little bit about the Jardu solution, and that very much enables the Medway team to put into action their service design for citizens. So, but just a little bit about Jardu. So we've got a large footprint in local government, higher education, social housing, and we're growing really quickly in North America through strategic partnerships. And we work across all tiers of government, providing our customer relationship and our content management and business transformation services. And these are very much designed to address the common themes that UK councils are all tackling around improving the customer experience, increasing self-serve to create those savings through reduced contact, helping free up officer time for more complex case management, creating those efficiencies by consolidating and streamlining systems, integrating with line of business systems to improve the flow of data, and ultimately delivering more for less. So Vicky's mentioned LGR. I know not all of you are impacted by it, but obviously there's clearly a really good opportunity to redesign a lot of services right now in England. So Jardu is made up of three core components. We've got Jardu Central, which is our web content management system for accessible websites, enterprise online forms and payments. That's highly secure, cloud deployed, no code. We've got Jardu Connect, which is our CRM, in which the workflows and the notifications and the automations are built. And then we've got our Agent AI Builder, the first of which is Agent X, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later on. And all of this is underpinned by Jardu's strategic consulting and digital design services. And these are used by our clients to redesign their legacy and inefficient processes, help them with their technology rationalization, build digital strategies, and for coaching and consultancy needs. So we've got that service wrapper around the product as well. And our mission is to become the world's most accessible digital platform. So we put accessibility at the heart of everything we do for our websites and our forms and our case management. So if you were to ever dive into the platform itself, you would see where we apply the accessibility as a rule. The Jardu platforms are no code, And I know with this all this banding, with it's low code, we think of it as no code, and that very much is to empower non-technical users to build forms, manage content, and automate workflows through intuitive, accessible interfaces without the need for custom development. Now that means it's suitable for a range of DDAP roles within your organization. So Jardu offers a range of SaaS products to help councils achieve service redesign. So we've got the full digital platform. That's no code, of course. It's web-based. It's our web-based platform for digital service delivery for content creation and web publishing, both in a corporate and a multi-site context for your microsites, that type of thing. The complete 24/7 self-service through My Account, real-time collaborative case management through the Connect CRM, payments and forms. But if you have already an accessible website that works for you and your customers, the digital platform Lite provides you with a lighter version of the full platform, so you can still use Jardu's no-code technology to deliver outstanding digital experiences for your customers. And both solutions are underpinned by Jardu Connect. So Vicky's mentioned Connect in passing. So it's a real-time CRM and case management platform, cloud native again, and it automates those processes and workflows, creating those efficiencies, and it offers that seamless integration with forms, portals, the contact center. Quite often we're integrating with lots of different, a variety of contact center systems and the back office systems. So it's within Connect is where all the integrations via the API sit. And then through personalization, the ease of use and the notifications, we're aiming to deliver that Amazon customer experience. Now, Connect is deeply integrated with the back office systems currently being used by most UK councils. So across most service areas, housing, highways, waste services, you name it, it does it, as well as some of the government department systems like GovNotify and DFT for blue badges, and of course the payment systems for that seamless payment experience. And here's just a few examples of some of the types of cases that councils offer their residents through Connect, from make an FOI, subject access request, through to flight tipping, from book a pitch, football pitch, to child safeguarding referral. Now, these common processes that Jardu clients have previously built are reusable, and they're available through the Jardu library. So for our clients, the library is a great place to discover shared assets, including process flows, test scripts, complex forms, and service design documentation. And you can easily download these digital assets as well as upload your own to share with the Jardu community. So that means that you can learn from and reuse what successfully worked for other organisations. So Medway, for example, that their new abandoned vehicle process will be on there. Capitalise on what is already available from service specialists and accelerate your own as well as other organisations' service standard levels by sharing best practices. Now, one of these in particular is the members portal. So right now, it's really popular, a really popular area for service redesign, and we've been working on it closely with Liverpool, Barnet and Hillingdon. But at Wigan, the transformation has had a large impact. So they've had high engagement levels. So 96% of their members have used it to date to submit an inquiry. Now, prior to that, transformation inquiries were managed via email. Real-time communication was established between members and officers on the case timeline itself. So officers could quickly respond to the members and talk in real time with them. And there's been a huge reduction in cases bypassing the process. And of course, that's a no-no, isn't it, really? And there's been improved data reporting to monitor KPIs. And overall, the members' experience has improved significantly as well. And the members' inquiries workflow with associated forms from Wigan is on the library right now. I want to give a flying overview of HNX search. The reason is because actually it's something we're currently implementing with Vicky and the rest of her team and Medway. So the usual keyword searches often mean that users have to scroll through lots of search responses, or they've got an annoying chatbot. Sorry to those of you that've got a chatbot experience that takes time to get to the results. HNX search is a call to action that takes users straight to where they need to be, allowing them to ask a website that is trained on content for immediate answers. So users can search and be posted directly to tasks with responses given by text or speech, massive advance in accessibility. It's fluent in over 80 languages, so it's really improving the service for non-English speaking citizens. and it works across any web CMS. So it doesn't need to be Bichard, it could be local gov Drupal, WordPress, anything that publishes content. And it's been designed to reduce contact center demand by up to 40% for low complexity queries. And we're currently implementing it with Lichfield. It's gone live. So if you go to the Lichfield site, you can have a look at it. But Coventry, Medway, and Broxbourne are currently implementing. And lastly, you may or may not have know this. In last December 2025, last month, Jardu was acquired by Netcall. So actually now 1 in 2 councils use a Jardu Netcall solution. So it means we can now provide that one-stop shop for digital services to the public sector to help that contract rationalisation and deliver value for money. So collectively, we can now provide that front-end digital experience, the process mapping for service redesign, omni-channel for contact centres, no-code as well as low-code, because Netcall Liberty is a low-code platform, RPA, intelligent document processing, and agentic AI, and machine learning. That's it from me. Sorry if I've gone over. Sorry, it felt like a pitch. Didn't want that to be. I'll stop sharing now, Nick.